Picture the North Carolina coast. Your first thought might be a sandy beach, but the bulk of North Carolina's shorelines are actually along estuaries. It's a lattice patchwork of bays, sounds, and salt marshes. These habitats are crucial for juvenile fish, oysters, and clams, and of course the fishing industry, which brings in millions of dollars a year. Estuaries are also home to many North Carolinians who want to be close to the water. But like the sandy beaches iconic to North Carolina, shorelines along estuaries are feeling the pressure of sea level rise, which is eating up property all along the coast. And the communities that live there are trying to figure out how to save their property from an ever-encroaching ocean. Linda and Kurt Worgan have lived in Newport, North Carolina for close to 30 years.
Being right on the water is it's a moving picture every day.
But over the years, they've seen their property erode at a faster pace.
We saw maybe at least 10 to 15 feet of loss for us. Now that's over 20, 25 years, but it was marching.
Erosion is a natural process, but it's happening more and more frequently because we've had a lot more storms, a lot more frequency and intensity of storms. As sea level rises, we are seeing higher water levels than we have in the past, so we're seeing erosion along the entire length of the shorelines.
In the past, the default solution for homeowners in the face of erosion is what's called coastal hardening, installing a bulkhead or a rock wall revetment. That's basically a line of rocks dumped along the shore. The designs vary, but the goal of these structures are the same: hold the line against the ocean. And they often fail.
We had a neighbor down here, we'd only been here about 3 years when we had a big hurricane, and he had a wall, and it came over the wall, and it took the whole wall out, and it took half of his yard out. And so that just left a terrible memory in our minds.
But that's not the only problem with these structures. When you harden a shoreline with a bulkhead, it damages the ecosystem.
So the more that we harden our shorelines, we start losing our valuable estuarine habitats, our salt marsh habitats, our fish habitat, our oyster habitats, because when that wave energy comes from the sound and it hits a hardened structure, that energy has nowhere to go. So then it comes back with it, and in the process it takes away all of that habitat in front of a bulkhead, a seawall, or a riprap revetment.
Shallow estuarine habitats are crucial for fish, crabs, and oysters. Basically all the things we like to eat. Without habitat, they won't survive.
So they have no place to hide, they have no place to eat, so it really affects all of the organisms that are in that location.
Across the country, coastal communities have been hardening their shorelines to protect against erosion for years. Research shows that overall, we've hardened 14% of our country's shores. In urbanized areas like New York City, it's more like 50%. But over the last few years, the North Carolina Coastal Federation and other groups have been promoting an alternative to hardening. They're called living shorelines because they're made of oyster shells or other natural materials that can become habitat for ocean organisms.
So a living shoreline is something that's very near shore, but offshore a little bit, so that it attenuates the wave energy instead of deflecting it. And it slows the wave energy down. They perform much better during hurricanes because in a hurricane, the high water is going to be over top of the structure. It's still going to slow some of the energy down, but it's not getting battered the way like a wall does. It also, as the wave slows down over the top of the structure, the sediment drops out, and you can actually build the marsh and make the land more resilient on its own. So you're allowing the coast to heal itself.
With help from the Coastal Federation, Linda and Kurt installed a living shoreline in 2017.
We raised our hands and said, what have we got to lose?
It works.
It works, I mean, because we've seen even after the storm, there might have been half a dozen bags that got tumbled off. Easy to pick them up and put them right back on top. And that was it. It stayed, and our dock was nearly destroyed.
I love that the oysters grow on it, and then they clean the water too, so it's like you get all these perks from it. It's growing all by itself, and it's cleaning, and it's protecting.
The more projects that we build, the more people see them. Once we build one, the neighbors will come out and they'll want one as well. So we're seeing this domino effect of installation of living shorelines, which is going to help to protect our coast much better than hardened shorelines like bulkheads.
Living shorelines are still rare in comparison to hardened shorelines, but the tides are shifting in North Carolina, where residents have built 3,000 square miles of living shorelines.
We met with so many landowners that would talk about where the shoreline was generations ago, where it was in their childhood, and they're wanting their children and their grandchildren to still have a coastline. And so they're very invested in wanting to protect it and wanting to protect it in the most environmentally sound way possible.
It's such a respite. You know, got a son in Charlotte, a daughter in Greenville, North Carolina, and a son in Raleigh, and they love this place. This is a getaway. Put things down and just take your shoes off and go walk out in the water.
Thanks y'all for watching this video, and if you want more where that came from, check out our channel, Sci and Sea. Stick around.